our next session. Beautiful day. We're starting to meet around noon when we want to film because we know it's going to get hot in the early and mid-afternoon with summer approaching. Today's objective is to get Beta tacked up. Alpha just gets to be around. He's going to get to follow us, etc. Our last session was with Alpha and he did very well. Now we're going to put the tack on Beta, and I have my simulated cart shafts made out of PVC, 2-inch PVC, glued now, and a little narrower. And when Alma comes out here, she'll be following Beta while he's being ground driven and or led.
Want these on or just the...
Yeah, I want everything on like we did with Alpha. He knows he's in school. It used to be important in our country to send kids to school, but ever since COVID, that value has dwindled. Okay, so we're using the harness type of tack item that we created from something I bought online that was useful for sheep. I don't have an independent camera operator today, so I hope you'll be patient with my hands when they shake. I am 80 years old, just about to be 81 in a couple of weeks. But I know what I want to do. I'm relentless to do it. And as long as I'm alive on this earth and physically able, you will be able to watch on the Urban Alpaca Girl show what we want to do with our darling alpaca boys, Alpha and Beta. Now we have to lift the leg just to get, that's a little better so far. Okay, it would be helpful if Alma came out here. She's supposed to be coming out here any minute. Now, for the decades that I took care of horses, one of the first things I did was teach them to accept a halter. And then one of the next most important things I did was to teach them to lift their legs so I can clean out their hooves. We got it. We got the right leg. and quite frankly, he's better than he was last time. I know we will be able to teach these alpaca boys, Alpha and Beta, to drive a cart. And I know that eventually we'll be comfortable taking them out on the ranchos trails and having people who want to join us pay us donations for the sake of the sanctuary animals, tax exempt from their taxable income, and they'll be able to enjoy the beautiful ranchos. And here comes Coco. Coco goes wherever Alma goes. And my little Min Pin Mix dog goes wherever I go. And if I'm filming out here, I just leave the door open so that she can come out and watch us from her backyard. Okay, now the device is sitting there on the hay box, Alma.
Yeah.
So once we start walking through,
Right.
you'll be able to use it to
No,
control
I'm not going to use it.
Beta's hips.
Do the same thing we did last time with Alpha.
I'll do it. I'll be behind him.
Okay. Instead,
I'll grab
Tavis will use the device and Alma will lead
Okay.
or drive.
by it. Okay.
And we have this corridor that we set up so that it's like being on a cart drive
Do you drink coffee?
on the Rancho trails.
Oh my God. Frankie sent me this.
And they have to turn right or left depending upon which direction we're going.
Yeah. You like that?
And I want the boys just to understand if they feel something on their hips,
Starbucks.
not to freak out,
They're all Starbucks.
just to give the right answer.
Give one of the little cans. It's not the hell though. But I'll give you one of those. Stay here. Stay here.
I have not found any videos that show this technique for training alpacas for eventual cart driving,
Tell me when.
but I'm using my experience from training horses and mini cows for decades to do this. Okay. Now if Beta starts swinging his hips over, we've got the shaft, simulated shaft to apply pressure on the hip that shouldn't be swinging over. Eventually we're going to do this with ground driving lines, and I'll have something that will keep the ground driving lines positioned along the sides of their bodies. And we'll have somebody to handle the shafts to explain that they're to keep their hips straight. Okay, all right. We we lost them. Okay, come get them.
Yeah.
That's okay. Things always didn't work out with the horses and the cows either, but with
Good boy.
repetition,
Good boy.
we taught them to do what we wanted them to do.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Alpha.
We can let Alpha be out.
Yeah, he didn't follow us.
Okay. Okay, we're starting over, but that's okay.
Okay, let's go out. Let's go out. Alpha, let me get out. I don't want to walk behind him.
Yeah.
Let me out. Yeah, okay.
It would be good if we could have somebody else here, but quite frankly, with our economy the way it is, many people I know don't even have gas in their cars. They can't afford it. They would love to come and work with the alpacas,
Okay, let's
but they can't get here.
times before we get that going.
Or they're working extra jobs
Come on.
to get gas into their vehicles.
Come on.
Okay, all right, one step at a time, that's okay.
Yeah, we're going to just do a couple rounds and then come back for that simulator.
Remember a few shows ago we used white PVC, half-inch white PVC arm extensions. And I realized that it would be more realistic if we used something that was about the weight and the size of cart shafts. That's why I made this simulated shaft training tool.
Okay.
I got a call from somebody who
Hey,
was
No.
thinking about
no.
donating their pigs to my sanctuary. And so I've been watching some YouTube videos, and in fact, pigs can be taught to pull a small cart. So if it comes together and I do accept the pigs in my sanctuary, you might be watching us train the pigs. to pull a cart. Not as big a cart as that, but a cart that's a good size for a small pig, assuming the pigs are small, to pull.
Corridor. Go to the corridor.
Now, if we had another person here and to do the filming,
Whoa. Whoa.
I could try to go behind Beta and be ready to apply pressure if he moves
Okay.
his hips. You see, right now, Tavis, try to stay behind.
Try?
I'm gonna try getting those two.
Oh, the PVCs. We're going to go back to the PVCs until we get another person here. Okay.
Come on.
These boys don't intend to hurt anybody. They're just being alpaca boys,
We
reactive,
hold one on one side too.
trying to understand.
I could probably.
Okay, yeah, now he's got only
Okay.
one arm extension in his hand, but if he stays close enough and
Okay.
the hip needs to be adjusted, he can use one arm extension. I just want to review. The reason I'm concerned about that is I don't want an alpaca to get excited or scared within cart shafts and end up with 1 foot on the other side of the shaft. That could be dangerous.
Hey.
Right, apply pressure. Oh, and he's kicking out.
Come on. Forward. Forward. Forward.
The weather is good today, should be good until this weekend. Then we're gonna have some cold coming back in. Just for a couple days. You can see in his body language how he's ducking his neck. He is not relaxed, that's for sure. Okay, but he's being reasonable. Yes, good. Try to go into the corridor. Try to keep that hip over, yes. And he notoriously swings his hip when we come around that corner. That was better. Uh-oh. No.
Forward.
Something spooked him.
Come on. Come on.
If you want to see how I did this with my horses and Morgan horses and mini cows, please go to Urban Cowgirl Show, 3 words, on YouTube. I had hundreds of shows there. I showed what worked and didn't work. I watched RFD
Yeah.
every day to see what horse trainers and cow trainers were suggesting
Waiting for the
was a good way to get the right answer.
alpha.
If it didn't work the way I thought it should,
Come on.
I showed you. And I had subscribers worldwide.
Let's go with it.
Okay, and our shows are usually anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. I think that the team has decided we're done for today.
You're too agitated.
And Tavis, it's actually going to get cold and maybe wet this weekend.
Take off the leg thing, and I'll just lead him for a couple of rounds.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He said, I'm out of here. He's still got his tack on, which is not good. I didn't expect him to push through the
I didn't
panel.
Hey,
But we've got gates closed here, so they can't get into the medium pasture, the back pasture, the big pasture. they're kind of stuck here. And this has never happened, that they actually got out with their tack on. Okay, and Tavis, who doesn't have a lot of experience with any other kind of livestock training, has techniques that work for him and the boys. Okay, now I think Tavis is going to bring him back.
We're gonna move them back in and take the leg things off, and then lead them a couple times to have some resolution.
We just don't want to release the pressure if he's giving us the wrong answer. That's the basic training idea.
Right.
Here's Alpha, who's looking around, but he came close. And here's Beta. Now we're going to try to take the tack off.
Okay. You're okay. Good boy.
Well,
We're
that's
gonna lead him around. I'm gonna lead him
okay with
around
just the halter.
with just the halter, just to get him some positive.
Yeah. Okay. You see, he's being
Yeah.
reactive. That's for sure. We show you what works and doesn't work.
Come on.
We're going to be relentless
Forward.
to train these boys to cart drive and ground drive.
Come on.
And Alpha is just grazing, not interested in going with Beta. But I always try to make sure that they can see each other.
Better.
Watch their ears, that tells you a lot. And the way he's ducking his head, that tells you a lot. He's just not concentrating. He's not focusing on what we would like him to do. He's doing what he is inclined to do because he's not sure what next step he should take.
Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Good boy. Yes.
Good boy.
All right. Now, I think our next objective is to get him back into the small area and get the halter off without issue.
Yeah.
We've had issues with Beta, especially about taking the halter off.
Okay. Get it? Okay.
Okay, he knew you were taking it off. He's glad to have it off.
Boy.
And he's going to go out and do what Alpha and Beta do in the early afternoon on a nice
Good boy.
sunny day.
Good boy.
And they'll be okay. And you'll be able to watch us get to our behavioral objective someday, to have Alpha in one of the carts, Beta in the other, and doing cart driving here on the property and outside the property perimeter fence where we have access to trails where no motor vehicles are allowed. That's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Alpaca Girl. Comment on this video or email me directly, soniasokolow@gmail.com. And look at Beta. He's in his pool, his wading pool. We keep water in it. They love to stand in it. Okay, and now Tavis is opening gates again so they can have access to everything they're used to having access to. And we'll be scheduling another noontime training session soon, and you will know when we've uploaded it, because it will become available on youtube.com, and I always send it to my website designer, William, who has created, as a volunteer for my sanctuary, ShadrachFarms.com website.